Welcome back to Alpha Recap. Markets are closed, and we've got a packed walkthrough of the headlines that moved the tape today. As always, if you have questions, you can reach us at stockalpha.ai. Jeff here. Let's dig in.
Thanks for having me. Lots to cover, from a blockbuster data deal to labor uncertainty and a weird but important swing into nuclear commercialization.
Okay, big headline to start. Qualtrics announced a transformational acquisition. Tell us the high-level take.
Right, so Qualtrics announced it was buying Pressgani Forsta in a deal valued at about $6.75 billion. Management framed it as building what they called the world's largest AI dataset for human experiential context. In plain English, enterprise software plus decades of healthcare quality data.
So it's really a data play, not just a product buy.
Exactly. This isn't just another bolt-on. It's dataset-driven M&A, owning vertical regulated data that can power AI features tied to clinical workflows, regulatory reporting, and patient experience. That vertical focus can make the product stickier and harder to displace.
And the market implications were broader than just Qualtrics, right?
Yeah, we saw other signal points today, partnerships anchoring digital health in new regions, and publishers warning teams to assume search is changing. Put together, data scale plus distribution strategy is increasingly a competitive moat for AI-enabled products. Platform owners, ad publishers, and major compute suppliers all feel that ripple.
So the winners are the folks who can pair domain data with workflows. Quick question. Were there any oddities in the Qualtrics releases that people should double-check?
Yes, investors should verify some of the numbers referenced in related press. There were citations like 2%, 80%, and a strange 220,026% type notation that looks like a typo. Always worth confirming the underlying metrics before building models.
Got it. Moving on. Labor headlines were big today. Teamsters and Amazon. What happened?
The Teamsters said they will appeal an administrative law judge's decision in the NLRB joint employer case involving Amazon. They called the settlement a sham and signaled continued legal escalation. That raises the prospect of a prolonged legal cloud over Amazon's contract model with delivery service partners.
That felt like it could have operational consequences.
Absolutely. Even small percentage shifts in cost or logistics can matter at Amazon scale. The briefs included illustrative scenario inputs, numbers like about 44%, 20%, and essentially zero for different stress tests, just to show how sensitive models can be. So, what really stands out here is the potential for contract model changes and higher labor-driven cost exposure.
And there were other labor issues too. BP and the United Steelworkers?
Yes, talks stalled at the BP Whiting refinery after the union left negotiations. BP said it's still at the table, but the breakdown raises short-term throughput risk at that refinery. Analysts use sensitivity levers. Think about figures like roughly 38%, 17%, and a few tenths of a percent to stress test margin impact from an outage. So these are tangible operational risks.
Labor headlines always have a way of popping up.
Yeah, that tracks. I mean, when you step back and look at this, recurrent labor friction is becoming a persistent input in macro and company-level risk models.
Short reactions.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Switching gears to energy and defense, there were some interesting commercialization tie-ups today. Walk us through the big one.
BLSK Energy came out of stealth after signing a commercialization agreement with Argonne National Laboratory to produce fuel for advanced fast reactors. That's meaningful because it shows national lab R&D moving toward private sector supply chains. If they hit milestones, this could accelerate private players in advanced nuclear fuel production.
So it's a public-private pipeline moment.
Exactly. These kinds of partnerships can speed technical validation and open doors to multi-year contracting, which substantially de-risks small innovators. We also saw some defense tech and automotive partnerships in the briefs that point to similar dynamics.
Quick aside, were there any timelines we should watch?
Keep an eye on detailed commercialization timelines and pilot plans from both the company and Argonne. Licensing steps and funding disclosures will be the real catalysts to watch.
Let's hit healthcare and biotech highlights.
Lifespan Vision Ventures led a $4.75 million seed extension in Violet Therapeutics, signaling ongoing early-stage interest in healthspan plays. On the services side, Coastal Medical Transportation completed an acquisition of an ambulance business, and staffing firm Worldwide Health Staff Solutions talked about staggered international hiring to manage workforce shortages. So you had consolidation at the enterprise data level and continued seed activity at the therapeutic level.
So two parallel tracks in healthcare: consolidation for data and continued small bet funding for therapeutics.
Yep, that's a good summary.
We also had a rapid fire section in the briefs. Anything in those quick hits worth calling out?
A few items. Insure My Trip put out an airport cancellation analysis that could create localized volatility for airline stocks, depending on the data. A food company won product awards, and some valuation scenario numbers were highlighted. There was an EdTech partnership aimed at student readiness, and Ally Bridge Group filed a Form 13F with headline percentages and dollar figures. The briefs referenced about 34%, 41%, 66%, and $218, and about $33 in one summary. So follow-up filings may clarify what those map to.
Lots of granular stuff for modelers to dig into.
Totally. For anyone building scenarios, those little numbers can shift conclusions more than you'd expect.
All right, let's step back. What are the big picture patterns you saw today?
4 themes stood out. 1. Dataset scale and vertical integration are driving premium M&A, as we saw with Qualtrics. 2. Labor risk is re-emerging as a material risk driver across sectors. 3. Public sector partnerships, especially with national labs, are fast-tracking commercialization in strategic tech, energy and defense included. And 4. Early-stage capital in biotech and health tech is still active, even as larger consolidation happens at the data and services layer.
Concise and actionable framing. So, what should listeners have on their watch list tomorrow?
Look for NLRB appeal filings or union statements around the Amazon case, any Qualtrics integration commentary or regulatory signals, announcements from Argonne or BLSK on pilot timing, updates from BP and the USW on negotiations, the full Insure My Trip report for airport cancellation details, and any clarifying 13F filings from Ally Bridge Group.
Before we wrap, a short reminder on the legal side.
Sure, this discussion is informational only. We're not giving specific investment advice or recommending buying, selling, or holding any security. Analysts note data and potential market implications for modeling purposes. For personalized guidance, listeners should consult a qualified financial advisor.
Great. Final takeaways. The 3 things you want listeners to remember from today.
1. Qualtrics' deal was a data-set-driven shift toward vertical AI and could change competitive positioning in healthcare software. 2. Labor headlines, Amazon and BP, reintroduced operational and legal downside that modelers need to account for. 3. Public-private commercialization, especially in advanced nuclear fuel, is picking up pace and could reshape supply chains for strategic technologies.
Perfect. If you have questions about anything we covered today, head to stockalpha.ai, where you can ask us directly and we'll answer live. For more market analysis and insights, visit stockalpha.ai.
And again, ask us your follow-ups at stockalpha.ai. We'll dig into the filings and timelines you want us to unpack.
Thanks for listening to Alpha Recap. We'll be back after the next close with more context and clarity on the stories that matter.